Boys and girls of every age, we've waited for this moment all year long, and it's finally come. Welcome to October, the pinnacle of the spooky season. Mark and I have had this month's movie lineup wrote down since March, so words can't express the excitement I have now that we're finally here. Regardless of the dirty looks and judgment, I will still go hard for Halloween at 32 years old as if I was 8 years old. I mean, that's what we're doing here, isn't it, folks? Adults clinging and sharing key moments of their childhood that brought them joy, in hopes that nostalgia will somehow take the sting of adulthood away, if only for a brief moment. The love for Halloween and horror is rooted in our youths, but my generation of horror fans, we now have youths of our own. I personally don't try to live vicariously through my children or force them into my passions. They're their own people, and they can do what they want. That is until October. Every spooky season as they get older, I find great joy in showing them movies that would maybe spark the passion their old man has. And the flick we're discussing today is one of the first movies I introduced to all three of my kids, The Monster Squad. The story follows a group of young horror-obsessed kids who meet Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman, the Mummy, and the creature of the Black Lagoon, and they have to return them to their eternal resting place. 8-year-old me would have done anything to be a part of their world, so here's my attempt to show praise to this 81 minutes of gold. I'm gonna need you guys to hold on, because we aren't slowing down. It's October, and this is our take on The Monster Squad. Boom! Welcome to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I am your host and your scary movie companion, Christian Ramey. I'm back again for another week, clapping them cheeks, the best producer in the whole wide world, Mr. Ozark Mark. What's going on, Ozark?
What's going on, Mr. Ramey? I will tell you what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The wait is over. We are in October.
Yeah, baby.
And the fun will never end.
I'm about to fuck a pumpkin. All right, I took that a little bold. I jumped in deep. I like Halloween.
I'm pretty sure the seeds would cut some things, maybe.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be as good as you would think.
If you get a sharp one in there, it might cut a vein.
The one advantage is maybe if you can get like a small enough one, you could probably just spin it. You could just spin it. You wouldn't have to. Yeah, you get a good spin on there. You might be able to finish the job. Okay.
You can go.
Yeah, oh yeah. Look, I'm just kidding, but it is October, Mark. This is huge, man. I mean, honestly, all year long, we've been talking about, hey guys, we're gonna deliver in October. We have literally saved certain movies that we've wanted to talk about for months, just for this month. And we're starting off today because, let's be honest, let me precursor like this. Ozark, who is Halloween for? Are you going out and trick-or-treating?
No.
No, you're not, but you still like Halloween. Halloween's for the kiddos.
Sure. It's all about the children.
I'm very happy that we've introduced kind of a new segment with you where you break down a parental rating, because that's a more popular question than I imagined going in. I didn't realize, A, how fucked up our generation's parents were, because they just didn't really care, and then B, nowadays there is a lot of horror fans who enjoy the subject, and even they, being so knowledgeable with horror movies, will reach out and say, Ozark, Christian, what can we watch with our kids that won't freak them out, and here's what age they are. So I really kind of enjoy that. I'm not saying push anything on your kids, but this movie right here is a great segue. This movie is so close to my heart. We're talking none other than The Monster Squad. Came out in 1987. There's really not a number of times I've watched this movie, because not only do I love it and watched it countless times as a kid, now my kids are the same way, and I've kind of gone through it with each of them, and now my 3-year-old, I'm serious, Monster Squad is played at least 3 times a week in my house. It's not like everybody's sitting there with popcorn, but you know how kids are. They want to watch shit over and over. Mm-hmm. I could recite this in my sleep. We have classic monsters. It has kind of that Goonies feel, almost Stand By Me feel. Group of kids teaming up. How would they deal with all these universal monsters? Now, granted, they aren't licensed universal monsters, but let's be fair. It's Frankenstein, it's Dracula, it's the Mummy, It's the, they call it the Gill Man, but it's the creature from the Black Lagoon. Mm-hmm. We've got the Wolfman. We've got the whole fucking squad. So cool, man. I love that this movie fixates on a group of kids who were obsessed with horror movies. Obviously, I can relate with that. But that was such a time frame, man, like the late 80s, even like the early 90s of just being, and even before, I'm not saying 50s kids and 60s kids didn't go through it, because I know John Carpenter, Wes Craven, all those guys loved old monsters. It's just something so sweet about monster, like kind of like dinosaurs for really little boys. You kind of graduate from that and you work into monsters. You don't know why they're badass or why they're cool. Of course, movies can scare you. But they're just sweet, man. And this movie kind of encapsulates all of that feeling. Fucking so pumped. I don't even know where to start this, dude. I'm pumped.
I can tell you are pumped. You are very excited. Very excited.
I am. Like, I could cry.
It's a fun movie. This is an easily rewatchable movie. Like you said, it plays like 3 times a week.
Yeah.
You can always enjoy watching it. It's a great movie. It's a great feel-good horror flick. It's good for the kiddos. It's got a great little fun little story, great characters, and it's got all the stars of the monsters in it. Like, they're all in one place. Like, how could you not like that?
And they look good. They don't look corny.
No, they don't look corny. They all look good. You instantly recognize that's who that is. You know that's Dracula. Like you said, you know that's Frankenstein. You know that's the Mummy. You know that's the werewolf. You know all of it. And I like how they also incorporate some of their typical stories. Like, my favorite part is, when Frankenstein still goes to meet the little girl for the first time.
Yeah,
it's just like the other movie, except, he doesn't throw her in a lake and she dies.
Wow, that's Mark. But I'm like,
But that was cool with how they could incorporate that into this movie, and stay with that storyline. That's pretty fucking cool, man. That's pretty cool.
You amaze me all the fucking time. We have Ozark Mark, folks. Ozark Mark. All right, the guy. I know you say you're not. You're like a larger horror nerd than you believe so, man. That's a random fact not a lot of people know about old Frankenstein. And that's what made it so crazy. He threw the girl in the lake and she died. And obviously people in the 30s weren't watching shit like that on TV, like in the movies.
No.
And that was huge. And not a lot of, even there's fans of Frankenstein or the monsters who like Monster Squad who don't pick up that little reference or Easter egg. So that's a very smart horror, brain you have there, sir.
It was good for stimulating the brain. But, it kind of freaked me out at first because I see the little girl there and I seen Frankenstein's, shoes and he's, walking towards her. I'm like, oh, shit, I've been down this road before. I know this is a family movie. I know it can't happen, but that instantly, came over your mind this bitch is about to drown.
So I guess I'll lay real quick the synopsis down. It's not very long, so it's going to be very quick. There's an ancient legend that's going on. The movie starts off where it's the ancient legend where there's these monsters. The only way that they can go back to their home is if you have a virgin say this spell over this fire. It's some...
My favorite part about it is one of my favorite parts is in the beginning of the movie of the title, the old school title scroll telling you the story and how everything goes. And the last line is, and they failed miserably.
And honestly, I think the beginning sequence is kind of the most frightening because you might start there this is a kid's picture. There's a vampire eating a possum. Chick's super bloody. Yeah,
those vampires in there are pretty... not you would expect when you say a family-friendly horror movie, but it's cool though. It's good that you're getting there. You get a little bit of fear in there. You stick with vampires are supposed to be scary.
Yeah, this movie does great at that.
They're supposed to be scary, and those vampires are real vampires. They're not, falling in love and fighting werewolves or whatever you're used to now with these nowadays vampires. These are some old school vampires. How vampires should be. So that's pretty cool. But continue.
Agree.
I'm sorry. Continue your little synopsis, please. Finish it up.
So here's the synopsis. It starts off, it's kind of crazy. And I will say, too, this movie does a perfect job at, touching that spot of, uh-oh, this is almost I don't know if my kids should watch this. And then it immediately simmers into, a either heartwarming or it's a good moment. Because the kids end up winning with this. So here's the synopsis. You go to present day, monsters arrive in a little town, And this monster-obsessed little boy and his friends get wind of it, and they do their best. They end up meeting Frankenstein. They like Frankenstein, so they kind of want to send him to his resting spot because they feel, he deserves to rest. But Dracula's kind of a dick, and he's trying to, take over. He's trying to, just cause havoc. The only people that can save the town are the Monster Squad, so it's the kids. They even have little business cards. So, that's kind of a Ghostbusters-esque kind of feel. The kids end up being the heroes, and that's always a great theme with the movies. And there's something also great about this movie is the dialogue. It's actually how kids talk. It's not like, hey, gee golly, guys, this is a fun game. This was exactly how kids talk to each other.
At that age, yes.
Hey, fat kid. That's how they called him.
Yeah.
You can't say that now. And that's honestly all you really need to know with the synopsis. It's a bunch of kids dealing with the Universal monsters and how to send them back.
Right.
So, I guess that's another thing we'll start with. Before you show your kids this, now I don't know how old you are or how touchy you are, but this is 1987, so there are some, you could tell we're in a different world. There's some slut shaming a little bit, there's a little fat shaming, there is some gay shaming, there's some drops of the F-bomb, and not fuck, but the other one. And But if you grew up in that time frame, I'm not justifying it by any means, but I'm stating that was just part of the lexicon. If you were getting your ass whooped or people were talking shit, the F word was definitely getting thrown around. And honestly, I was guilty of it, but times have changed, and it's different now. It has a different sting to it than it used to because we didn't used to mean homosexual.
It pretty much anytime we use that word, it just meant an asshole.
Yeah,
or jerk off or something. Any other.
99% of the times you were saying it to your friend.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. It's bullshit because that was a very fun word. That was a very fun word.
It is.
But times have changed and people got a little more sensitive, and then it is no longer acceptable in this day and age that we're in. But
it's been so many years where we haven't really, that we've adapted, and it's just not a part of the words that people say anymore. If you go back and watch Monster Squad, you're like, uh-oh. It gets in your ear immediately. So
it's one of those words, too, where, you can say, you could read a dictionary to your kid. You can read the entire dictionary to the kid. As soon as you get to fuck, shit, asshole, bitch,
yes,
dick, pussy, vagina, any word that is, is bad, they instantly know it, and they're going to start saying it.
Yeah, they went with the full word. They went with the faggot.
They went with faggot.
Oh,
so,
Ozark Mark doesn't like gays. I'm just kidding.
So, faggot is going to be dropped multiple times in this movie. So, be aware of that.
And also, the character Horace, they just call him Fat Kid. Even his friends call him Fat Kids. And there's a really funny part where later in the movie, Frankenstein, who ends up being their friend, he gets a bunch of shit falls on him. They're like, he's a monster, Sean. We gotta get out of here. And he says, hey, don't call him that. Hey, Fat Kid. You're calling him Fat Kid, but he can't call Frankenstein a monster. I
don't know, man. Fat Kid, that's his name. You get that name.
But I thought it was cool because even in 87, so I'm going to lay down that scene that you're going to look for because it's pretty early on, and that's really the times where they drop the F-bomb.
Faggot.
Yes. Here's what happens. Horace, or Fat Kid, he's getting bullied on by these two little bullies, and they come up and they rip his comic book and they throw his candy bar on the ground and they stomp his Snickers bar into the ground. They're giving him, the 80s, 90s verbal abuse, just that, take this. And it's all looking bad, and little Horace starts to stand up for himself, and he kind of mumbles, he says, you're an asshole. And he says, what'd you say, faggot? And he said, I said you're an asshole. So the little kid beats his ass. He starts beating up Horace. He starts beating him up, And then all of a sudden, one of the coolest kids shows up, Rudy. He's like the 7th grader, right?
Yeah.
He shows up on his bike with a leather jacket and a cigarette. Like, that's the... And,
Oh, man, that's back in the good old days where you could have underage smoking on school property.
yeah, dude. They just didn't care. Like,
No.
they just didn't care. And he came in with, like, the sweet tire squeal, the burnout, like, that you always want to do.
Yep.
And he says... Hey, EJ, see you met my friend. He says, see you met my friend Horace. Hey, Rudy. And like, then all the school starts to circle around him because they know like something's about to happen. So he makes him
eat that Snickers bar that he stomped out, and it's funny because like it made me think of Pet Sematary. I wish he would have said it. No, it's yours now.
It's yours now.
It's your candy bar now. But he says, yeah, it's your candy bar now, and he makes him eat it. So it's a little bit of satisfying, Bully gets what's coming to him. So.
And his voice even breaks. He's like, Rudy. He said, eat it. Rudy was, and definitely, like, he was the kid you wanted to be growing up. Like, he was just a cooler, older kid. And honestly, I was more of him. I was definitely more of us anyways. We were bad kids. Like, good, but bad. I don't know. I fell in Sean, the main character's category, too. I just was obsessive. And you know who else is underappreciated in this or did such a good job? Are Sean's parents. You believe they're his parents? And the dad is such a dad.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like smoking a cigarette at the end of the bed. Like, this movie just gives me nostalgia to the fullest, bro. Like, what's going on there, champ? He just hits you with that kind of like...
Shaving, like, you're supposed to be watching you want to go watch a movie. Yeah, well, you're supposed to be watching your sister. So
like,
no
Dad.
can do, kid. No can do, kid.
I've never related, like, that scene right there is my childhood, like begging my parents to go see a dumbass movie or at least let me rent it or do whatever. And he's like, it's the same old, didn't they blow him up in the last one? And he's like, no, they did this in the last. Like, you're correcting him. But he supports it. He's like totally like, all right, but now you're watching your sister tonight, but tomorrow we'll watch the movie. Like, he just didn't give a fuck. But the cool part was the kid was able to watch it because they live right next to a drive-in, and he just sits on his roof. It's like, you little son of a bitch. You got a drive-in next door, you little fuck? I got a TV, and I would still sit on my roof and watch the drive-in every night.
Sure. It's a cool little old-school nostalgia that you don't get anymore.
Yeah, it just feels like you're stealing because you kind of are. So, like, I'd still do it. I pay for Hulu, Netflix, Shudder, like literally everything, HBO, Amazon. But I would still sit up there and watch movies in a lawn chair. That sounds like a great time.
Sure.
And then he has the little sister. Like, the little sister wants to be a part of it. But, like, it's really hard to get childhood down. And even though... we're not kids anymore. There's a lot of movies that portray kids where you're like, kids don't talk like that. The Conjuring 3, why they dressed that little kid like Jeffrey Dahmer, a little fucking weirdo. He looked like a fucking strange kid. Why'd you do that kid? He looks like a fucking... Kids don't dress like that. What the fuck you doing? What you doing to this kid? Give me real life stuff. This kid had a Stephen King's Rules t-shirt on. Like, that's awesome to me.
Yep.
They're talking about, like, would Wolfman have NARDS? Like, would he wear clothes? How do you kill a werewolf? They're asking questions we would ask each other at 10, 11 years old.
Yep. Yeah, they would. I believe that all these kids were friends too. Like, it hit childhood pretty good. There's always that one creepy person on the street. If you had a group of friends around the street, there was always a house. There was always one creepy house where there's a creepy person living there, and they always have that.
Yeah,
that nails
trope.
That too.
And he always ends up being the good guy.
Exactly.
Like, he ends up being the guy that... I like how they call him creepy German guy. Like, the little kid was staring in the fence, the little girl, she said, hey, guys, I think the creepy German guy saw me. Like, can you picture being that guy?
I love the fact that he was German. I want to live next to an old German man now. Just because...
Like, I hope that, like, at one point, like, I'm the scary guy.
Stay. Yeah, you want to come over and have a piece of pie?
You want more cake? I like how, like, what would you do, Ozark, Mark? Like, you're fucking just an old man, and you're looking out, what's outside? And they're like, you see a kid looking at you like, guys, I saw the old creepy guy. And you're like, What the fuck did I do? Fuck you kids.
I would keep it that way.
Yeah.
So let me alone. Goddamn kids. I don't need y'all coming around here bothering me.
That's true.
Fucking playing foosball in my lawn.
Yeah, power flex. You pull the Sandlot move.
Yeah.
It works. They're always nice, but they seem scary.
Right.
Yeah, you're right. That's all you got to do. If you actually encounter them, you just got to be nice. If you got to save them from monsters, or you got to get their baseball back, or like, you got to be cool then.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, the rest of the 364 days of the year, you don't have to fuck with them at all. All right. Yeah, I like that, man. And you might go years without having to, to encounter them. But if you do, you have to be really weirdly nice.
I've successfully avoided my neighbors on both sides of me for maybe 4 years, 3 or 4 years. They live like literally 10 feet, maybe 12, 15 feet away.
I haven't introduced myself to this neighbor, but the one on this side, they got a family, and they're like, they're nice, but it's not like we kick it all the time. But they're cool. They're nice people. They're nice folks. They're nice people. They gave us cookies for Christmas.
Those are good eggs.
Made me feel like an asshole because I didn't give them fucking cookies. Make sure to do it this year. Maybe I'll give them the pumpkin I fucked. See what they think about that. I'll leave it on their porch. What is this? Don't touch it.
Oh, my goodness.
So,
Yeah.
Ozark Mark,
Yes.
let's break down. I'm not asking your favorite part.
No.
I'm asking you, what was your favorite monster within the movie?
My favorite monster within a movie.
Monsters.
Monsters. My favorite monster, probably, I'm gonna go with Dracula.
That's a power flex move, bro.
I'm gonna go with Dracula just because he was the dick.
Yeah.
But he always shows up. I like it. He's got showing up at a sweet ride, and he's knocks out those airplane guys. Those airplane guys are hilarious.
Yeah, that one dude was fucking Richie Appeal in Sopranos. I don't know the actor's name, but I was like, I know him.
It's like I'm here shipping this World War II old thing with a bunch of crates of dead people in it.
You know what part I know makes me think of you every time? When the kid doesn't want to go to bed and he has the dad check out his closet for the monster in his closet. You're not sleeping with your mother or not again, so you can get that out of your head. Let's look in your closet.
What do you say when originally he wakes up? Like, what? Oh, no monsters in here under the bed. No monsters. All you monsters, get out. Done.
Yeah.
Done. I love how he's in a white shirt and boxers.
He got such the dad move. Like, what do you want, kid? And he says, if you keep this up, no more scary monster magazines.
You're not sleeping with your mother and me tonight. Get out of here.
That guy makes me think of you. It's like, that guy's got Ozark energy.
I'm almost at that point, dude. I don't have kids. But I'm almost at that point. Yeah, that's a great...
Get out of here, monsters. Ow, ow, ow.
Yep, you too. Get out of here.
Because that's really probably how you would be. Like, all right, monsters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cordy will tell me that shit. She'll tell me weird shit, dude. She'll say weird stuff. She'll be like, there was monsters under my bed last night. I'm like, what? She didn't call me to your room? You didn't say anything? There was monsters under my bed. I'm like, all right then. Well, I'm gonna leave you alone. Just, she's been in the principal's office already. That's not a big deal. Yeah, she's in preschool.
How do you go to how does preschool even have a principal? Are you kidding me? What could a preschooler possibly do to go to the principal's office?
Be mine. Be mine. Be my child. That's all.
What happened? Please tell me. Can you tell me that or no?
Yeah. She just,
What did she do?
She's full of energy, doesn't sit down when she's supposed to, and didn't want to help because she was trying to entertain the classroom. She was putting on a little show while the teachers,
Does it remind you of somebody?
Yeah, her mother for sure, not me. I don't know where she gets this shit.
Okay.
All right. But yeah, social butterfly. I mean, but she's smart. Her older sister, is like 15. Her older brother's 11, so she's just on a different. She's smart. She's just full of sass. But she loves spooky shit, so I got that.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting.
Great. Fantastic.
Woo! I won't do that anymore. None more will I do that. That's the only time, folks, you'll see that here.
Oh, I hate you. I hate you so much. What's next, Mr. Christian Ramey? What's in that fucking weird-ass brain of yours?
Well, I was going to tell you, I was kind of breaking down my monster, and mine might be the Wolfman, dude. That guy, that actor was really good, and I've said it once, I'll said it twice, I said a million fucking times. The transformation in this movie for the Wolfman is sweet. I love that in the phone booth, and he's like freaking out.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's gonna get your son. And he tears down the booth, and like, it was cool. He had like the jacket on, the torn shirt, like.
Yeah, that's like the key element you have to nail whenever you have a werewolf movie is the transformation. That's the only thing anybody cares about to see, really, is the transformation scene. So you gotta nail that, and they did a pretty good job on it. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's not American Werewolf because it's a kids movie.
Yeah.
But it still holds up, dude. You're like, damn, dude. The guy is not wanting to be a werewolf. Some werewolf movies they want to be, but this dude does not enjoy this process. And like he's like going into the police station shooting people, or like shooting guns in the air, like lock me up, because it's a full moon, and they eventually do. But I do like that. The mummy's actually kind of cool too. I like how they end up taking the mummy out. Do you remember that when Rudy, he takes like a bow and arrow and he shoots, like he grabs a piece of the mummy's cloth and he puts it through an arrow and he shoots the bow and arrow while they're driving, so he starts to get unraveled. That was a pretty neat scene. I like that.
Yeah, that was a cool little scene. I like the initial part where the mummy's first escapes, and it's the dad and the other cop guy.
Yeah.
Cop guy. And they're talking to the old security guard. He's just sitting there like, nope, I didn't hear nothing. Oh, you can't hear nothing? Can you hear me now? Hey, I hear ya. Well, I don't know what to do. Did you take him? No, I did not. Well, I'm out. This unsolvable. We're done.
Dude was like,
Funny
I'm glad you're
little
having a good
exchange.
time, but the fact of the matter is 3,000-year-old dead guys don't get up and walk away. And then it cuts scenes to the mummy like dragging his body across the street. I love that.
Yeah.
It's definitely a feel-good movie. Aside from like there's a little bit of slut shaming because you need a virgin to say this the seance, and they try to get this one girl, dude's sister, and she's not a virgin, so it's not working. And they're like, what? They're like,
You're not a virgin. Mike, that was once with Mike, but that doesn't count.
Doesn't count. That one's pretty lighthearted. You know what's really sad is the guy who played Horace, fat kid. He died in real life. His name's Brent. I forget his last name, but dude passed away. And like, I was watching this in this documentary, Wolfman's Got NARDS. It's pretty good if you enjoyed this movie. And what happened with Monster Squad? It wasn't a big hit at the box office. It came out like 2 weeks after The Lost Boys.
Yeah, that's a very horrible time to put that out.
It was.
Nobody thought that through.
Yeah, they didn't know that was going to happen. So what ended up happening in the 80s, what we all talk about, the boom of VHS, and then HBO. HBO in the 80s played like, and even kind of into the early 90s. It was like, dude, you had like 10 movies, if that, for the month.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't a lot of selection. It was a lot of Beastmaster, Don Castorelli, same guy that did Phantasm. It was like Beastmaster, the Monster Squad. This was one of the movies on there. So a lot of people end up discovering this after it was in theaters. And it started to just build and build and build. the directors, most of the actors, most of those people didn't know it was a success until 2004 or 5, until these conventions really started booming, and all these people on the internet were like, Monster Squad, and they were like, yo, you guys like this movie? And people started, so it is the biggest kind of cult film you can have. So when people say, like, I haven't seen it, I'm not all the way shocked, but man, it is just the precious little nugget of history of what it was like to be a horror-obsessed kid and just have, like, your parents just like, he likes monster stuff. And, like, you and your little buddies sticking together. Like, I don't know, man. It really is close to my heart. It's a good movie to watch with your kids, aside from the little bit of, like, risque moments. But I honestly think you could watch this with a 5-year-old as long as you explain those, like, random dialogue moments of saying, like, oh, this is just not what people say anymore. Like, you don't even have to fully, explain anything you don't want to.
Yeah, we'll get into that later for sure. A little parental guide for that ass. But right now, in this very moment, in this point in time, there's some things that we need to know about this fucking movie here.
Oh, it's that time.
Boom. Welcome to the What Do You Know here. This is the segment here where we are here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie here. Now, I can't look at you. Stop staring at me when you do it.
I'm just interested in what you're saying, man.
Now, we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie. Now, if you don't know what we know, you're about to find out what we know. And then we're going to know together. But if you know what we know, then we both know together already. And we're going to be one fucking big pumpkin. And we might get fucked. But it's okay, because they're going to spin and leave us on somebody else's porch, and you're going to have a ween-orgasm in the process. It's going to be fantastic. So here we go. Why don't you sit there and let me tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie here. Okay. So we got the Monster Squad, 1986. This was directed by Fred Becker. Whatever. Fred Decker. You think people call him Pekka in school?
Probably.
Hey, Pekka.
Hey.
Fred Decker was originally rejected by 2 film schools in his lifetime. What a comeback for this kid. He comes in here, he got rejected twice by film schools, and then bingo, bango, bongo, you make the Monster Squad. You got one of the greatest cult film horror movie fucking things of all time. Boom. Who would have thought? Fred Decker failed film school. Well, he didn't fail film school. He got rejected. He wasn't even smart enough to get in there. You can't hold a camera. You can't direct. He couldn't do it. So they said, F you. So he showed them wrong.
He was rejected by art school. He started the Third Reich. He started to take everybody out within the political party. Then he started the Nazi regime. And then I think we all know how it ended.
Yeah, that's bad. So, yeah, that's all I know here. What do you know about this movie here?
Speaking of Fred Peckerhead, Fred Decker, speaking of him, he is a smart man. He knows how to work Easter eggs. Even back then, So, are you familiar with the movie Night of the Creeps? It's about the parasite gets in your little body.
Sure, yeah.
It's a good movie.
Great movie.
But if you look inside the trailer, folks, you can go watch the trailer right now. It's on the YouTube, or
It's on the tube.
Yeah, you can find it on there. You watch this trailer. Here's what you're gonna find. There's a bathroom scene where he's crawling on the ground. But if you're looking at the stall inside the bathroom, right there it says, "Go Monster Squad." Right there, plain letters.
In the bathroom.
Yeah, in the bathroom.
Somebody wrote, "Go Monster Squad" in the bathroom.
I think they did that, because Fred Decker, it's his movie, so
You're
he's
telling
trying
me
to...
they vandalized a public facility,
I hope it's still there.
saying "Go Monster Squad."
Yeah.
Look at that. Who would have thought? That's an Easter egg.
Yeah.
That's an Easter egg that you may not even find ever in your life.
Night of the Creeps, Monster Squad, Fred Decker, Fred Double Decker. Okay, Fred Double Decker with your pecker. He made these 2 movies, and he's very smart at marketing. I would have did the same fucking thing.
Who wouldn't have?
Yeah,
What a fact here. See, I did not know that.
that's a good idea. Let me tell you a little something else.
Oh, sure. Go ahead here.
Okay, something I do know about this movie. Each of these monsters, they had their own little group of people working on their makeup. So it got a little, not competitive in the sense where they were really trying to fuck the other people. But they just wanted to kind of shine. It was a competition. Everybody was working on their own monster. They wanted to make sure theirs was the best.
So I get it.
So you can kind of see that. Because all of them look different and good. It's not like one look like it's got a little less attention. They all got their own. But here's the problem. Like we just said, this is Dracula, this is Frankenstein, the Wolfman. These are all Universal monsters. Well, this wasn't made by Universal, so what they had to do was kind of make adaptations. Make a little adaptation, their own versions. And I think they did a beautiful job at it. It doesn't look so weird where you don't recognize them. It just looks beautiful.
No, it don't look like no off-brand Frankenstein.
Yeah,
It don't look like no off-brand Wolfman. It don't look like no off-brand Dracula.
No.
They did the good little wave around of all the legal Universal monster regulations here and stipulations. They did a good job with that. Good job.
Look, if you guys like the makeup stuff, I like the makeup stuff too. But I really would say watch the Wolfman's Got NARDS, okay? It's pretty good because once they get into the whole thing's really good. But once they get into the makeup stuff and showing how all these different dudes were working on different pieces, I kind of like that. That'd be kind of fun. It'd be kind of fun to have a project like that. I think you and I could do something like that.
No, I'm not good with my hands.
Well, it under the situation, if it was spooky, it was fun making a movie, like that kind of thing. Like maybe not the monster itself, but the movie, having a timeline. And
Oh yeah, sure.
that'd be fun.
Of course. Wow, what a fact here.
Wow.
That's a great big fact.
Wow, that's a big fact.
That's a big. That's a
Wow.
That's Biggie size for sure. Super
Wow.
size. Yes.
Don't know how many facts I'm gonna get out sitting next to this guy.
I don't know. Hey, fact kid. That's what they used to call you. Fact kid. Hey, fat kid. Fact kid.
Hey, fuck you, Four Eyes.
Now you're getting a little ridiculous.
That
You
was
probably made somebody fucking cry right there. So
No, that's not even offensive. No one would care about that. Why was that? That was a big deal back in the day. Hey, fuck you, Four Eyes. You would be ready to because I had glasses for a small amount of time.
I know. How do you make fun of somebody that has more than you? Don't make sense.
I don't know.
He's got more eyes than you. He can obviously see better.
Yeah, you can see, he has assistants.
That's great. So, I think that's all we know here. So, we're going to get the fuck out of this place here. But we'll see you next time. And we're going to have some more brain food for your noggin.
Truth, justice, and the American way. You let your dog see you naked?
What? What the fuck kind of question is that?
That's a good one to have people in public. Hey, real quick, man. You let your dog see you naked?
Oh man, I'll keep that in my pocket anytime like someone comes up to you that you don't want to talk to. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right. Continue, please.
Wow. Monsters. Kids. I was a kid once. I like monsters. I would say our friends, we have what you would call a squad. There's a fat kid, There's all different roles here.
Yep.
you know what? I'm willing to give you Rudy. Like, you'd be the badass, like, you know, the man of mystery that pulls up smoking cigs. And I'll take Sean. I mean, unless you'd want to reverse that, but I'll take the horror nerd role, and you could just be smoking cigs and, like, protecting kids.
Fuck would I be the horror kid? Are you kidding me?
You were dropping Frankenstein facts, dude.
Because you told me that, you idiot.
I don't know, maybe.
How do you think I know that?
I don't know, maybe.
Do you think I looked this up? Do you think I researched this? No. You just tell me this stuff. You just sneak it into our conversations when you're talking for your 20 minutes in a row and you take about 5 breaths. Yeah. It goes in there, and you told me that. You told me that. That's how I know that.
I probably forgot.
Yeah, how could you remember everything you say? It's impossible.
That's a good point.
Yes. But look at that. You know, I like, cool. I get to smoke. I'm happy with it. I'll take it. I get to look at the girls changing. That's pretty dope too. Mm-hmm. You know, that's definitely a big thing at that age.
You take out the Wolfman. You made a bullet. You make a silver bullet, and you take out the Wolfman, dude. Like, and he thanks you. Like, he wanted you to.
Yeah.
So, like, not only are you, like, saving the world, you're saving someone's soul, bro.
I don't care about that much.
And you're protecting the fat kid.
Always gotta protect the fat kid. Always gotta protect the fat kid. Christian Ramey, what's your favorite part of this movie? Please tell me. Did you tell me already?
Well, there's a lot. There is a lot.
What part do you look forward to? Or, like, when you, let's say if you have this movie on in the background, like I'm sure you usually do, and you're in and out, and you see that this part is coming up in the movie, and you will stand there, stop what you're doing, you will put the laundry down, you will stop the vacuum, you will do something just to watch this little bit part of this movie. What part is that, Mr. Christian Ramey?
Aside from the quick glimpse of the werewolf transformation, I like the monsters forming. That's really cool. So I'm going third to second to first. So third, I like the transformation. It's not long enough to be my favorite. 2, I do like when they fall out of the plane. It looks like they land in Dagobah, like Yoda's place, like where the X-Wing's supposed to fucking come out. But, they bring the coffin out, the fucking swamp creature brings him out, and they all kind of assemble. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a badass scene, because that doesn't happen in, like, the Universal movie like that, where they all team up. You can look at this 2 different ways. The Monster Squad is the team of kids. They are the Monster Squad, but at the same time, it is a squad of monsters, yo. Like a squad of real-life monsters. So, I don't know, dude. If I'm really going number 1 now, it's when that damn "Rockin' Till You Drop" that song comes on, because my 3-year-old goes bananas and dances, and it's really funny. And apparently, I'm going to forget dude's name that sang that song. It's the same dude that did that. She's a maniac.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, I don't know his name either.
Apparently, that dude died in like a river. Rest in peace. God rest his soul. God forbid. But I'm just saying, it's just random. This is the things that happen with Wikipedia. Like, anybody, I mean, no disrespect to the guy. I'm saying, like, I would never know that fact unless it was from Monster Squad. So it's like, and what's that mean? Nothing. I doubt there's any time I'll ever need that fucking fact. Ever. But I have 3.7 million of those buried in my brain. And it's, like, frustrating, but, like, cool at the same time. I'm glad I at least have a platform now where it's relevant.
Yeah.
So, rest in peace, bro.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Interesting.
Rockin' till you drop. What's yours, dog? What's your favorite part?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard to pick.
Ozark. I know you had a busy week.
There's a lot of good ones there. I just like the German guy a lot. I like it.
He's a Holocaust survivor too.
I like his love for pie. It cracks me up. I like how they all meet up in this random woods or field or whatever, and they're getting ready to figure out what they're gonna do. And he's just like, I think we should go back to my house and have a piece of pie.
Yeah,
I'm with you, man. That made me laugh.
I like when shit got real and Horace. You remember when Horace, like, they were about to walk into the creepy shit,
Sean's leading the way, and Horace is like, why's it gotta be Monster Squad? Like, how about Nature Squad? Or maybe Science Squad? Like, or Math Squad? Like, like, you know? Yeah, those are great, man. I don't think we mentioned that the German guy was a Holocaust survivor. So Sean gets this book from his mom, and it's from Van Helsing. So obviously anybody with any horror knowledge knows the history of Van Helsing, but it was all in German, and he didn't know how to read it. So he has to, like, talk to the German dude and ask him to read it, and they think he's scary, and they're like, so you know about monsters? And he's like, I guess you could say I do. And he closes the door, and you can see the numbers on his arm, like he escaped from, like, you know, the Holocaust. Yeah. So
if I was a vampire, would I have a reflection? Sees it.
I love that he entertains. It's so easy, and we're all guilty of it. All adults belittle some children's comments at some point because they're crazy, they're silly, they're just crazy off the wall, and sometimes you're like, you need to relax. I mean, it's obviously okay, but some people are really rude about it, and it's like, dog, when you're a kid, you're only gonna have that, so you gotta, like, you're only gonna have that then, so you gotta entertain them a little bit, because it's not gonna be what the same. If you'll be lucky if kids of the new generation like something that you like, consider that a bonus, but it's gonna be completely different than what you're into. It's gonna be stupid to you, but, like, you just entertain a little bit. What you guys doing there? What's that, a Fortnite dance? What's that? What do you got? Do it for me. What's that? It's stupid. It's ridiculous, but it's fun when they entertain. So these kids, they're obsessed with monsters, and the old man's like, you see? No reflection. He's like, he's just feeding into it, you know? Yeah. And there's no such thing as fucking vampires. Like, you know, I just like that kids do that. Or like how they have an imagination still. So you have, like, kind of a choice as an adult. You could be like a super dick, and sometimes you're gonna be, but sometimes kids don't ask questions smart. Like, they don't have the right way to ask them. You know? So don't always get pissed off with them. Sometimes it's easy to do so, but entertain their little dumb shit, and especially if it's horror movies and monster shit. It'll never be as cool as it is when you're fucking 8. When you're 8 years old and you think something's badass.
Something's bad. It's badass.
Bruh, like,
that's because that's your world. You don't have anything else. That's the only thing you have. You don't have any worries. You don't have any problems. Like, you know what I mean? That's when life is good. That's once you become an adult, you spend your entire adulthood trying to get back to that nostalgia. You're trying to get back to that feeling and the point in your life, whether it be drugs, alcohol, hobby. Anything. Children, whatever you gotta do, you're always chasing. It's fun. That's always the thing of life. You always try to go somewhere. Let's say you try to go somewhere, try to make a goal. Mm-hmm. Once you reach that spot, you're always gonna turn right around and try and go back.
Yeah.
No, you won't be satisfied, and you're gonna miss what that spot you started out in, and then you're gonna travel, try and get back to that spot. Mm-hmm. It's very weird, very strange. But that's how the world works, man.
We're never going to be happy. Get over it. Everyone, you're not going to be happy, so you might as well be happy.
Well, since we're happy, why don't you rate this son of a bitch?
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah!
Okay, here we go. It's time for the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Yes, this is the point of the segment here where Christian Ramey, the horror nerd himself, is going to rate this movie as far as a horror movie. Not a movie in general, but in a horror movie rating. With 4 categories. We're going to start off with 3 categories. Those are worth 3 points each. Then we're going to have one final bonus category because, we need to make it an even 10. So, all those points are going to be
10 altogether.
Yeah, I didn't quite line that right up at that time. So we'll just move past that. You've been here enough times. You know how it works. 10 points altogether. Here we go. So, let's move on to the first category in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. That is casting.
This is a very strong category for this movie. not only is the casting great, but like the writing's great. There's a lot of character development for each of them. They all have their own identity, their own personality. So this is a very strong category for this. I'm going to give it a 3 on casting. Everybody works well. You don't question anybody's position. Nobody feels out of place. And not all A++ actors, but they're all amazing. The monsters were great. The kids were great. German guy was great. The parents were great. The other cop was great. The werewolf guy was great. Like, just the normal character. Like, everyone was great in this. Like,
pure greatness on the big screen or the small screen, whichever screen you're looking on. So that is 3 out of 10 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's move on to the next category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. That is kills.
So kills, you don't really have that many in here. Like, they kill the monsters, right?
Yep.
They kill the monsters. That's the deaths that we have. They're cool. They're cool. But the reason we started this movie off in October is something for your kids. Something for you to enjoy the fucking holiday, because we're going to be getting into films that you probably aren't going to be able to watch with your kids until they're in high school or they drive. We're going to get there. So this is a nice little treat for you. Since I love the Monster Squad and there were kills in it that were monsters, I'm going to give it a 1 because they're unique in how they kill, like, each monster. They unravel the mummy. They shoot, Horace ends up shooting the gill man, or the swamp creature, if you will, the creature from the Black Lagoon, with a shotgun. And he ends up saving the bullies that were picking on him earlier in the candy bar scene. And they're like, "Hey, fat kid." And he says, "My name is Horace." And he cocks the shotgun. So it's a very, overcoming adversity scene.
Yeah.
Like, that was great.
Lighthearted kills, but you're right. They got some kills in there. They have kills, whether they're good, they're kills. They are deaths of some
So I give it
living
1.
organisms. 1.
And there was creativity, and like each of those deaths was probably a few hours of shooting. So it's like I'll give it credit where it's due, and that's 1.
All right, so that's 4 out of 10 after 2 categories here. We're going to move on to the next category here, and this is the final 3-point rating here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. That is fear.
So fear, you're not going to be afraid of this as an adult. I will say, if you have viewers that are like under 10, maybe frightened. I would say, let me put it like this. My 3-year-old watches it, and she's fine. Granted, she is my daughter. She is kind of in a household of horror, but I imagine if you're, this deep into my show, you are probably living a similar lifestyle. So I'm all about teaching your kids about life. So I think it's totally fine. It's totally fine for a kid to watch. Well, let Mark get into that, but it might be frightening for kids under 10. Might be. Maybe that 3 to 7 range, it would be frightening. So I'm also going to give this a 1 as well, because it does a great job at like touching that point where you think it's going to cross over. Mm-hmm. And like we mentioned, there was the opening vampire scene where she's bloody eating a possum. So there are like maybe moments where your little guy, depending on how they are, might not be able to handle that. Mine's like balls to the wall. And I don't push it. She's just that way, dude. She just, you know what I mean? So I think, in my opinion, there are moments enough to give it a 1.
Go with a 1. So that is 5 out of 10. Let's move on to the final 1-point category of the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. That is, does Christian Ramey fuck with this movie? Yes, I do, Ozark. Yeah, I knew you would. Fantastic. So that is 6 out of 10.
Nope, I don't like it.
6 out of 10 for Monster Squad. Now keep in mind, this is rating it as a horror film, not a family film. That's not what we came here to rate it. 6 out of 10, but it's perfect for the children because it's a low score, but for the right reasons. Your fear is a 1, kills are a 1.
Yes.
Casting's 3. So, it's the perfect family-friendly meal to get your little one in the holiday mood.
If you like the Goonies, if you like stuff like that, and you've never seen the Monster Squad,
It's the horror version of Goonies, basically.
absolutely,
Basically.
dude. If you haven't seen this and you're a big fan of that, maybe watch it once by yourself before deciding, with the kiddos. But that's leading us into this. This show's on you. This whole fucking show is on your segment, on what kids can watch this Ozark, because I'm telling everybody I'm doing this for your family. I want a deep synopsis of really what you think, because you don't have kids. Obviously, my kids are going to be weird because they're into the shit that I'm into.
Yeah.
But as a person that doesn't have kids, you're babysitting, maybe you got nieces and nephews, brothers, sisters, what have you. What's Uncle Ozark feel comfortable with here? And you're watching it with them. You're not going to put it on and just leave the room. It's October, asshole. I mean, you're carving pumpkins. Great carving pumpkin movie.
Right, sure. Yeah. On a minute. Every kid varies, but I'm going to say in general, you can watch this with a 5 or 6 year old.
I
swear to God, you can't. Now there's always there are some touchy things. There is the old school '80s shaming, which they're not going to used to. Now that might be a problem for you. It might not be a problem for you. I don't know. But 6-year-olds, if you're going younger kids, some of that stuff goes right over their head and they don't even notice it.
Yeah, and just tell them.
And there's
the bad words. Kids know bad words.
They know bad words.
That.
You telling me you haven't cussed in front of your 6-year-old, 5-year-old? No, you have.
Fuck out of here.
Stop it. This is a different day and age. If this was back in the 80s, I would be telling you a different completely age. But nowadays, kids have phones, access to the fucking internet. They can see whatever the hell they want. If they have parental blockers, you can get past them. We did that all the time. So the internet, they see so many things. There's nothing in here.
Oops.
Now, it just depends on your child as well.
There's no sex or drug stuff.
There's no sex or drug stuff.
Rudy has like a crush on dude's sister, and like there's a scene where he's like looking through the binoculars, and you kind of faintly see her like undressing, but she's not naked. Like,
No,
she's
that's nothing. That's whatever. That's water under the bridge. Nobody cares about that. Really.
Yeah, that's
so
nothing.
I'd say 5 or 6 is the goal here.
I love that answer, Mark. I was really hoping you went younger.
Because you do. I mean, it just depends on your child. Okay, you can go younger than that.
I feel like if you can watch Hocus Pocus, you can watch this.
But keep in mind, I mean, random kids are scared of the weirdest, dumbest shit too. Like just random shit.
That is
I've
true,
heard
though.
some kids will be scared of the Wizard of Oz or some point in that movie. I'm sure they would if they're young enough. So I mean, if you know your kid the best, but I'm telling you, like, there's nothing.
I'm afraid of birds, and like I'm like a horror movie nut. I love shit, but like you bring some birds up in here, I'm gonna have some issues.
You're afraid of birds. So the first beginning part is kind of that's the scariest part of the movie is the beginning where they actually see real vampires. So I'll leave that up to you if you want your child to see a real vampire like that. But there's still nothing bad.
You could totally and I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mark, but that little beginning part that we've mentioned a few times that's really fucked up, it doesn't really have those characters don't like emerge later in the movie. It's just showing that this is a story that's been going on.
Yeah.
And it's showing you people in like 1800s that fought these people.
Yeah.
So like if you just like fast forward to the credits, like maybe it's like 120 seconds, maybe 3 minutes, and then it just starts off with your kids. With the Monster Squad kids. So maybe if you're dealing with in that younger generation, maybe worth a little fast forward through that beginning part. But that's the spookiest part, honestly.
Yeah.
Because there's no context to it. It just pops up. It's like red lights and blood. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like I'm yeah. So, but yeah, that's the Ozark parental guide for you.
I love that, dude. 5.
There you go.
5. That's amazing.
5
dog.
is the minimum. So that just shows you if you got kids, family night, put this movie on. Perfect trick or treat movie outside. Perfect drive-in movie. Perfect whatever it is. It's great. It's fantastic fun time. So,
folks, you feeling that? It's October. We are here. Leaves are falling. Well, actually, I don't know where the hell you live. They might not be. But where we are, they are. It's starting to happen. I hope you guys are living for it. I hope you guys are pumped up. I'm going to give you a little brief mention, too. Not everybody does know this, but I don't know what you're doing with your weekends. But if you guys are interested in watching some movies with some spooky peoples on Fridays, I'm going to lay this down. There is a Halloween takeover. So
all my people on TikTok, if you guys are familiar with the Streamin' Demon, I love that guy. He's got a lot of great content. Love his channel. And then Just Enough. Justine runs that channel. These guys are great folks. They've been friends with Sloppy Horror since the get-go. They've reached out, and what we're going to deliver to you folks, starting on the 8th, which is next, it's the second Friday of October, Streamin' Demon's going to kick off a watch party with 2 of his selection horror movies, okay? The following week, Justine will have 2 horror movies of her pick, and then the last week, I will have... Maybe I'll let Ozark pick the second movie if he comes and hangs out. It depends. But if you guys want to be a part of that, if you guys like watch parties, you need something to do, reach out to me. There's a million different ways. Whatever platform you want. You know, be Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, however the hell you guys get a hold of us. There's a million ways to get a hold of Sloppy Horror. Say, hey, want to know about the Halloween takeover? I will send you the Discord invite, and all you have to do is show up. There's lots of giveaways, and what we're trying to do here is COVID really sucked the last year, for everybody in a lot of sense, but especially for the movie sense as well. Kind of took the luster away of Halloween, so we're giving it back. We want folks to be pumped up in October, and Mark and I, we've got a killer lineup. You guys don't even know what's going on next week. There's movies that have to deal with the holiday. There's movies that deal with, I don't know, man. The church. There's movies that deal with.
Look, man, it's just
I don't know. We'll just get crazy.
It's just the start of October, okay? Right now we're in the hay rides, hay rides. Okay, right now the sun's up. Next week, that sun's going away. I will say that. Boom. So that's exciting, man. They should be look forward to that. It's good stuff. 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 Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I'm telling you, folks, too. Before and I mention this all the time on my other platforms when I'm going live, but I'm saying this here. This isn't just about podcasting. I mean, horror movies are what Sloppy Horror is about. Eventually, from the theaters to the haunted houses to all kinds of stuff. Eventually, I want Ozark and I to be able to come to your city. We can have watch parties. If we can sell enough tickets, we will be there. We want to bring this genre back to life. We have not only just like ideas for movies, we have things written out. What I'm saying to you folks, if we get the opportunity to make these films, to just get a chance, will they be everybody's favorite? I doubt it, but we have new ideas. I'm not bringing you any sequels. I can promise you that. It's no sequels or no prequels. It's not going to be a new Halloween film, which I love Halloween, but I'm not going to dig up an old franchise. We're just trying to bring some life back into this, man.
Just give me the life.
Even so, like we said, with the Netflix, it's hard to find great movies because there's so many, and it's not like the old days where the movies are up in the marquee. So with these watch parties, we want people excited. Do you remember that when you were a kid, like a Friday night? They still do like 31 nights of Halloween, but like when we were kids, man, you didn't have the selection of like picking what you were watching. There was just a few channels. So there'd be like, oh, this channel has all the Halloweens on, or this would like, come Friday night, we've got the 2 spooky movies. So that was a great deal for, that's what helped this genre be what it is now. And that's why so many fans are packed inside the conventions and what have you. And I'm not saying there won't be new fans, but yes, Netflix is great. All these things are great. Streaming is great, but we are losing a sense of things. So from us building our theaters, making our movies, doing things, folks, horror movies are movies. Since the beginning of movies, there's been horror, and Ozark and I will be here forever preaching about that, bringing them to you, bringing life to the genre. So we appreciate all of you guys. I know there's been a bunch of new listeners. All you new guys, all you old people, whoever the fuck you are, if you're this far into the show, we thank you guys so, so much. Obviously, we're a sponsorless show. Ozark and I support this. We crank out every week for you folks, and we love it because this is our passion. So
everything and anything helps. You guys want to reach out and help, there's many ways to do that. Obviously through the website, we have merchandise. Obviously through our Patreon as well. That's going to come more in effect later on at the end of October. We'll have more details about that. But obviously, there's no content now, but obviously you guys can sign up now because there will be a bunch of content. But aside from that, if you guys enjoy this show and you think somebody else would, tell them about it. You know, we're still growing, so we thank you guys so much. Spread the love. Word of mouth does the best thing ever. I can't tell you how pumped up I am for October. Next week's Game Face, baby. This is for the kids. I love the kids. Trick loves the kids. You know, I was once a small child. All right.
Listen to me. Listen to me right now. Is that all you have to say? Because I really have to piss.
I do too. So yeah.
I really gotta pee, dude.
Yeah, I gotta pee.
I've been holding it for a while. So
Zark's gotta pee.
I gotta pee.
All right. Happy Halloween first week.